Since I was a kid, since I was like, as far as I can remember, 5, I always had that like bubbly, like jokey personality, And oh, not to cut you off, but like that brings me back to like when you say about making it work. Okay, when I was like 9 years old, it was a blackout, so you got 2 minutes grace, and then after 2 minutes of like performance, unemployment, betrayal, just so many elements of like things I was going through that it's just like I felt a strong urge to do something that was really connected with me, and I feel like comedy was just that thing that just freed me up. Like, hello, my name's Levi. I'm 29 years old. I'm from Lewisham. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I'm here to tell my story on the creative rise.
Hello, Levi. Thank you for pulling up. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
That's good, sir. So, about before we get into the full story of you getting into stand-up comedian, we would like to get the full story about you, Sydenham, Southeast London. What does it mean to you today? And what would it say about the version of you growing up?
Oh man, Sydenham means everything to me. I mean, Sydenham's a part of me. Grew up in Sydenham my whole life, lived there my whole life pretty much, and it's a small town, but it's a big community, honestly. And even just from a young age, just like meeting up with like my mum's friends and also my mum's friends' children, and we'd all just play outside on the field together. We'd play runouts, knock down ginger, football, everything. And it's just like so many iconic moments and experiences and spots in Sydenham that mean so much to me. I went to secondary school in Sydenham, Sedgehill School, which is that school means a lot to me. Met so much great people there, and even like for example the Bridge Leisure Centre, which is closed down through the quarantine. That was the first place I ever went to the gym, and I again, like that was great experiences for me as a kid too. So, like when I think of Sydenham, it just it's a part of me. I am Sydenham.
Ah, that's good, bro. Like, when we touch about childhood, like early influences, like I love that point when you're talking about being that young kid, being born in the 90s, growing up in the 2000s, where you can reminisce all those good times just being outside with your friends, whether you're playing knock down ginger, if you're playing knock, runouts, riding bikes, all that stuff. So I like to touch on the point where you say that everyone's got that one thing that's kept them up as a kid. I recall you talking about watching South Park, like
Mm.
yeah, going to your god sister's house, being at a young age, watching that show. What's that moment where you really sense that comedy is the one for you?
Oh man, I mean, since I was a kid, like since I was like, as far as I can remember, 5, I've always had that like bubbly, like jokey personality, and just in school, just joking around with the kids, playing pranks, laughing, and having a good time. And I remember like, for example, the privileged kids had Sky, and if you had money, you had Sky. You had the satellite dish outside. Yeah, that was like pretty privileged, like rich. Okay, you got money, you got the satellite dish outside. Now we got Sky late, so I was unfortunate. I had about I think 5 channels. BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, and that was a privilege. But you know, like I remember my god sisters, which is like my mum's friends' daughters, and we were all close. And they had Sky early, and they had the GameCube, and I didn't have a GameCube, but they was playing Super Mario, Mario Kart, Dash, and I would go to their house and I would like catch up on the latest shows, and we'll play games together. And I remember watching South Park there for the first time, and you know the South Park introduction, and you see the characters, and I'm like, okay, it's a cartoon, like might be some cartoon shit, and just laughing and joking. And I remember like 2 minutes in the episode, I'm hearing like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" I'm like, "Oh shit!" Cartoons are swearing. I'm like, and I got hooked ever since to like dark, raw comedy, like edgy comedy. And that influenced me like going to secondary school, and I always was attracted to that style of comedy. So it wasn't until like later on where I started doing stand up, but it's always been a part of me. Like South Park, Family Guy, love those shows.
Yeah, talking about them cartoon adult themes, especially being a young kid that where your parents don't, they tell you you should not watch this. This is not for your age and all that stuff. But I recall the time that deliver Deliveroo, like when you spent a couple of years doing life on the roads of London. Would you say that was the starting point where you thought that when you did Deliverudeboy, like you wanted to do skits based on the everyday life of London of today?
Yeah, Deliver Rude Boy was something creative that I created just out of nowhere, and it was a story of my life. And I've always been a creative person, but Deliver Rude Boy was like it was essentially me riding around the streets of London delivering food. Getting up to no good, getting chased by dogs. Like you pull up to an address, you go woof woof woof, and you're getting chased by the dog. Eating the food on the slide. That was me. I was doing that earlier on, of course, and I just thought to myself like, there's so many iconic moments that's happening on the London streets, and I'm literally in the middle of it all. I'm riding through, let's say Peckham. I'm riding through Camberwell. I'm riding through Brixton. I'm in the trenches on my bike delivering food to the hood. And it's like, this is iconic. This needs to be on camera. So I created that moment, and people loved it. They loved the skits, and there was a lot of engagement from that. And even for example, I'll give you one story, right? I did a delivery in Lewisham Hospital. And the thing about delivering in the hospitals is difficult because there's different sections. And in Lewisham Hospital, you've got like yellow zone, blue zone, purple zone. It's techie. And then you've got different like floors and units in the zone. So I went to the mental health section, and I remember as I picked up the order, the customer just kept calling my phone as I'm on the bike. And I'm looking at my phone, just ignoring it because I know what he's gonna say. Where are you? You know where I'm, man. You're tracking me the whole time. You know where I am, so I'm ignoring it. Now, when I get to the actual place and I find the actual unit, I get off the elevator, and as I turn around the corner, I just see this Terminator looking motherfucker just walking towards me with a hospital gown, right? And the gown is just like flapping as he's walking. He looks like he's got a cape on. But his eyes are just bloodshot red, and he's walking towards me like Terminator. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting a bit nervous now. So I'm holding the KFC, and he's walking towards me just ferociously. And I'm like, okay, now my heart's racing, and I'm thinking, "Oh, what's he gonna do? Swing a punch for KFC?" So he walks towards me, grabs the KFC out of my hand, and he goes in real intensely, and he goes, "Don't be late again. You hear me?" And he looks at me with his red eyes, and I'm like, "Whoa!" And then he just walks away, and I'm like, this is crazy. This is the type of things I have to go through on a daily basis delivering food. So it's like, of course, I need to create this on camera and just like recapture those moments. So that's really where the idea came from, to be honest. Just daily life.
Yeah, definitely. Especially talking about deliveries of today, it's very saturated, where you have different companies compete with each other who does the best services and all that stuff. Like it's very original because you know that something is fresh out of the box, that you never get someone to understand what it's like dealing with day-to-day deliveries on the busy roads of London.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop from there when it comes to creating more skits. Let's touch on the next skit that we did a collaborative together, the Wayne and Wesley chapter. Like, what really sparked the idea, and what's the behind the scene moments, and what really made you laugh and cringe during those days?
Oh man, Wayne and Wesley, that was, those were great days because, you know, it was a story of two guys, right, and they're from Deptford, and they're best friends, but they're like polar opposites, but they're best friends though, and they get into loads of different dynamics in the area, and it was just an interesting concept, but also just filming it, being part of the whole process. Like me and Kenneth, we was, writing, we was producing, we was, even helping film, helping edit some certain aspects. We were the main actors. We were casting other actors to be part of our project. So it was a lot of work, and we was using our own money to fund for the project as well. So there was a lot of like trials and tribulations we went through that process, but we managed to get 2 solid seasons in, which is impressive in itself. And we finished on a bang. But I feel like some of the highlights, there's so many. I mean, even we was filming, in a place, it's called, what's the estate? But it's right by Mermaid Tower. That's like where the main base of Wayne and Wesley was. I think it's Evelyn Street, around those sides. And we're filming, and I think Kenneth's like filming a section by the swing, like the little playground area. And I just remember this one woman just opened her door and just started shouting like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Just shouting for no reason. And like, we're just looking at her like what? We're not even doing anything. And then she just closed the door and she starts shouting again. And we're just like, you know what, let's wrap this up and let's get this done quick. But, some people weren't quite receptive to the filming process, but we still got the main objective done. Even if certain actors didn't turn up on the day, we'd make it work. So there's a lot of like wiggle room freestyling, but we got the job done. So that was a good process.
For sure. You made some interesting points over there as well. And I really like the concept that you just kept going regardless of the situation. You make it even sweet. Like, if plan A don't work, always figure out from plan B. And you left with a bang as well on ending the Wayne and Wesley chapter.
Exactly. Because, not to cut you off, but like that brings me back to like when you say about making it work. Okay, when I was like 9 years old, right, I went to a primary school called Marvel's Lane Primary School, and they were selling raffle tickets for 20p each. Now, back in the day, unfortunately, we didn't really have the money like that, so my mom's thinking 20p for raffle tickets, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's a waste of money. So, but in my head, I'm like, if I win these prizes, I might win this, I might win that, this new Hot Wheels. They had like a Hot Wheels thing, the thing that's, I'm like, I want to win that. So I'm like, I need to get these raffle tickets. So you know what I did? Extras Wrigley chewing gum was 35p back then, back in like 2004. Now it's like 80p, but it was 35p. So I'll sell each piece for 10p. So I'll get 65p profit for each pack. And those chewing gums were selling so fast. Like, like back in the day in primary school, you have the desk and you have the slide in. So you'll slide it out, you have your pencil case. I will have full of chewing gum. Like, I have chewing, like different flavors. I was selling chewing gum in the class, on break time, lunchtime. I was making some serious money, 65p per gum. And I was just buying raffle tickets with my profit. And I bought so many raffle tickets, I won like 4 prizes out of 20, which is crazy. And they couldn't believe it. And I always remember like that feeling of just achievement of like, I made this happen. I put the work in, I grinded, and now I get these four prizes. So from that, I think that's when I learned like you can really make something out of nothing. It's just about how you just see things. If your vision is clear and your mind is right, then you can make it work. There's always a way. Even if they say you don't have time or the money, you can make it work if you really want it to. So that's what I say.
Mr. Hustle from 9 years old. Not many people has the courage to start hustling from a young age unless you really have that right mindset to go go there and take the initiative to just keep going. Like I remember you posting up a throwback video, which is the raw essence of the stand-up comedy gig that you did in Up the Creek in 2015.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how was you feeling at the time when you first did the gig, and what really reshaped you to get back, restart, rediscovering the love of the comedy.
Oh, that's a good question. So, when I did stand-up comedy for the first time up the creek in Greenwich, I think it was 2019. I did it for the first time, and I just literally just did it because I was like, let me give it a try. And I was a bit younger back then, and I literally just typed in Google stand-up comedy. That was the first place that came up, and I said, okay, let me give this a try. And I went up there a bit arrogant, a bit entitled, like, I'm funny, this is gonna work. And I didn't practice or rehearse, I didn't speak to no one, didn't do no research. I just went straight up on stage. And I'll be honest, I got smoked. I didn't last a full 5 minutes. It was a blackout. So you got 2 minutes grace, and then after 2 minutes of like, performing, they've got audience members with free cards. And if all three cards go up, your time's done. So I didn't last longer than like 2 minutes 10. So that let me know that okay, I need to do better because clearly this isn't working. They're barely laughing, they're barely engaged. People looking on their phones, talking to their partners when I'm performing. I'm like, no, this ain't hitting. So I took a break and then I went back. The reason why I went back 2 years ago is because I was speaking to a few comedians about this, and they agreed that, especially like music, arts, entertainment, but especially comedy tends to come from a strong place, like a strong urge brings you to comedy. And for me, it was pain. Like I had a strong sense of comedy because I went through so much pain, you know what I mean? Like when I say pain, I'm talking like things that I don't open up to everybody, like anxiety, depression, paranoia. Um, what I mean, I went through some police like brutality issues as well that spread all over ITV. That affected me a lot. Family issues, um, death in the family. My granddad passed. That affected me a lot. Um, like let's just have a heartbreak. What I mean, I'll be honest. Like I'm 29 years old, but shit, my heart can still break. Like just you know um relationships that don't work out. People that you really like and want to be with, and then it just doesn't work out. You're just like, okay, gotta adjust. Job loss. Unemployment, betrayal, just so many elements of like things I was going through that it's just like I felt a strong urge to do something that was really connected with me. And I feel like comedy was just that thing that just freed me up, like just writing, like things that I've been through and making it funny and light-hearted. It's almost therapeutic as well in a way because it's like things that you keep in, you can release and get like response from the audience, and it's so freeing. So I feel like since I've been doing comedy, it's helped like my mental health, and it's helped level me out and not take things so serious. But at the same time, I purely just enjoy it, like it's my passion. So I think that's like the main thing, like the pain of just hardship in life, like that brought me to comedy, I'd say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Loving all those gems you're just giving out, especially touching on mental health. That
Yeah.
it's not something that's not really acknowledged in society, especially for men, like we don't like to express our feelings clearly to anyone because we get judged in a certain way that we are going to feel like we're soft, we're this, we're that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. You're able to, you can say how you feel, express it clearly, and touching on that, like in terms of going to comedy gigs, balancing out your day-to-day life, like doing your, for example, like 9 to 5. How do you use your time to come up with new materials and get through it, regardless of the time you finish, and go straight to your gig?
Oh, so I say it's mainly the passion, man, honestly, and I stay like grounded. I remind myself why I started, and like even I feel like it's a lot of things where, because a lot of like comedians or just people that are creative, they sometimes they focus on like what they do while other people are around or when they're on a stage or on camera, but it's a lot of it is to do with what you do by yourself or when no one's watching. Like those things that you do, those habits are crucial. So I stopped smoking cigarettes, I stopped smoking weed, I stopped like sleeping for long hours, I stopped playing GTA and FIFA, I stopped that. And like I got rid of those habits, and like me personally, just like eating good, exercising, getting fresh air, keeping a good circle of people around me that are like ambitious, same sort of mindset. It just keeps me driven to keep going because I feel like without those habits or those things within your circle, it can keep you just feeling like, oh, why am I even doing this? Or maybe it's not worth it because you're hearing like acts of self-doubt in your head, like subconsciously, unconsciously. So because I just keep the right energy and frequency around me, it just keep me pushing forward. And I feel like even like like there's so much things that's going on, like challenges and hardships that everybody goes through, but I go through as well. But because of what I've been through, I don't let it affect me too much. Like it doesn't bother me as much. Like I don't cry over spilt milk. I just be like, what, how can I solve this? How can I improve this? How can I that's more of my mindset now. So I think those things are what keep me going. Like just building that solid foundation so it's like, the ship won't crumble, the ship won't sink.
Mm, for sure. Like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
And what I like about you is that changing your mindset from what you acknowledge from your old habits, changing to your new habits, really has really shaped you of the man of who you are today.
Yeah.
And speaking of this is my favorite part of the segment. I want to ask you about Mr. 50/50 on your hoodie.
Yep. It's the
The man of the year on the Pop the Balloon series. The series that has been the most popular show on YouTube, which started in America, then it started to become viral globally. Talk to me about the process of getting to the show and what really surprised you in terms of the way you've been perceived on social media.
Okay, getting to the show. So I applied for the show through a company called Star Now, and applied for the show. The guy got back to me and said, "We'd love to have you on." And I was a bit hesitant, I'll be honest, because I've never done nothing like this. I was like, okay, I've seen the clips. I've seen people get fried up, get smoked. I'm like, ooh, okay, am I ready for this? I said, you know what, let me do it. So went to the show, met China, met all the ladies, Shayla, met JP as well. And it was interesting. It was interesting, I'll say that. And it was definitely an experience I won't forget. But something that surprised me is that the clip that was released at the beginning went viral. It went viral all over Instagram, TikTok. You know, just so it was China that said to Shayla, "What's your ick? What's your deal breaker?" And she said, a man that goes 50-50, don't do that. So I'm like, what? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't even realize, I don't remember my arm moving. I just like, it was so instinctively that I just popped the balloon. And the way I was trying to pop the balloon, it was like I was trying to like, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to put the seatbelt on or something. Like it was crazy. I was just really trying to, and that went viral. And it was crazy because I was thinking of it and I was like the power of just being yourself is like so strong. Like honestly, because I was purely just being myself. I've been going 50-50 my almost my whole life. I split the bill if I go on a first date with a woman. That's what I do because I don't know her like that. I'm not gonna pay the full price, or we'll just go to a museum or park. And I was just like, I thought this is what some people do. Clearly, some people don't. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So the fact that it went viral, I was like, wow, this is crazy, because it was something thought provoking and something that people was just like, that's an interesting perspective. So in the comment section, people just having conversations about, should a man go 50-50? Should he not? Is he not a real man if he goes 50-50? Is he just doing it because of this? Is he broke? And I'm just letting them all talk. So I'm like, this is really shifting perspectives in people's minds, because it's people on both sides that agree on this side and agree on the other side. So it was crazy. And after that, like doors started opening up, going on to other shows, bigger platforms, TV shows, doing a whole lot of different stuff. So I think doing that was like a pivotal moment for me. And even just like selling the merch, I'm selling Mr. 50-50 merch. I'm selling Mrs. 50-50 merch. I'm selling not Mr. 50-50 merch. I'm selling not Mrs. 50-50. So either side, I'm selling merch. So it's like, I wanted to really just like captivate that moment and just keep it rolling. I don't call myself Mr. 50-50. The people called me that in the comment section. And I just ran with it. I changed my bio, start selling jumpers. I'm like, okay, you call me Mr. 50-50, I'll take it. I'll take that. So, that's it done a lot for me, I'll be honest, and I'm grateful.
You should be very grateful, man. Like that one viral video literally caught the attention of the public of getting to know who you are as a person. We can touch on creative aspirations and future growth. We can ask you about what is your personal and creative goals in the future. But as you briefly touched a little bit of it, could you expand what's the next set of goals that you're aiming to achieve?
Oh, that's a good question. So I'm definitely want to do, like right now I'm doing stand up and I love doing stand up. So I definitely want to do some tours around the UK. I want to go to different towns and cities around the UK because right now I'm just performing in London, which is great. But I want to go to Manchester, I want to go to Birmingham, I want to go to Southampton, I want to go to Ireland, Wales, and then I want to go to New York, Jamaica. I want to like do stand up all over the world. And then on top of that, with the TV shows, I feel like there's something there. I don't know if it's reality TV or TV shows, but there's something there that's working. So I'm venturing around the TV shows mixed with the stand up, and I feel like long term, I wanna give back. Like I wanna create opportunities for the youth, but not in just a way where it's just like, oh, just open up a basketball court, just open up a football. Like, that's cool, but it's like, not everybody plays basketball. Like, there's more stuff we can do. Like, so I'm just like, you know what? I haven't figured it out yet, but I want to create something more than just that for the youth. So that's like long term goal. But I guess I will start out in my community and then maybe venture out elsewhere. So those are my goals. And then yeah, just to like keep focusing, keep growing, keep learning, keep doing collaborations with people, in the industry. And I feel like for me personally, like it's gonna sound cliche, but I'm focusing on the now and not the how, because the how, it will come. A lot of the time we don't know how we're gonna get there, but we just know that for now we're gonna just keep consistent and keep going. But at some point we will get to those. I'm hoping for that, but at the same time I'm enjoying where I'm at now, you know, and let's just see what happens really.
I appreciate my brother, man. Honestly, like, great gems. What you're just saying right there. Start small, dream later,
Mhm.
because you don't know what the future can really hold for you later down the line.
Mhm.
But before we wrap up, I want to give you like a little reflection, food for thought.
Mhm.
Um, if you could sit down with younger Levi in
Mhm.
that Sydenham barber shop right now, getting his hair cut, what would you say to him compared to when you was young right now?
Mhm. I'll say, when you do something and it feels right, don't stop. No matter what the teacher says, no matter what your parents say, your friends, if it feels right, because a lot of the time we ignore the gut feeling, but the gut feeling is something deeper than like what you see in the mirror in terms of the body. So, like for example, when you look into the mirror and you look into your eyes, like past the iris, like right directly inside, you you, you can see the soul. You can see your soul. Now the soul is separate from the body. The body is the temple, but the soul is the spirit. The soul is what you take with you into the next life. So I would say the soul is very connected with the spirit and the gut feeling. So when you feel that gut feeling that you're doing something bad, stop. You're doing something right, keep doing it. So sometimes you'll be doing something, you're not getting paid for it. You're there, you're getting opportunity, and you're like, this isn't paying my bills, but this feels great. Just keep doing that, because the money will come, but it's like the fact that you're passionate about it, the fact that you enjoy it, the fact that time is going so quick, you're making so much good connections, opportunities, that is where you should stay, or you should figure out a way to like potentially make money but keep in that lane. Because I'll be honest, like there's been times like I've done things and it's like, okay, I know I'm not getting paid to do stand up, but it's like this is a big platform. Let me go over here and I'll take a day off and I'll make money tomorrow. It's fine, but for this moment, I can't miss it. And because I've made those adjustments, is why I've like slowly built up. Because it's like behind the scenes, people don't realize that like I'm taking time and putting time and effort into places that people don't see, is why things are building up, and that's what I say to my younger self. If I knew that when I was 16, man, it'd be a life changer. But you have to live and learn. So I feel like if you can grasp that concept from a young age, you have such a big advantage over your peers and your people around you. Yeah.
Honestly, Levi, this has been a very warm, welcoming conversation to have with you by spinning the gems and reflecting on your personal journey from childhood up to now. What, where can we find you on social media?
Oh, it's Levi the Comedian, TikTok, Instagram. I don't use Facebook no more because I feel like Facebook is like MySpace. It's just like who uses it? But you could find me on Facebook, Levi the Comedian. Yeah, send me a DM or collaborate. Let me know if you want to buy some jumpers, Mr. 50/50 or not Mr. 50/50, or Mrs. or not Mrs. Whichever one you are, I got jumpers for you. Trust me. Yeah.
I, I like to leave this little note. No matter how many twists in the journey, our messages stays the same. The motto is never give up.
Yeah, never give up. Ever. Ever, 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 ever.
That's the rock.